Joe Rogan and Chris Williamson debate the reasons for why the current generation is the first to be worse off than their parents. Damn, dude, this shit goes hard on mute. Damn, they're spitting, bro. Damn.
American dream still very much is a real deal, I think, and people are told that they can have blue sky vision and helicopter thinking and be whatever they want to be. But the problem that you have is...
You think they're going to say woke mob did it? You think they're going to hit him with a woke mob?
When those people grow up and become adults and the world doesn't deliver...
You think they're going to hit cancel culture? I hope they do. I hope they talk about the real problem, cancel culture.
...them the thing that they were promised. They feel a delta between where they are and where they could be. They go, hang on a second. I was told that I was going to get the blue sky and the white picket fence and the blah, blah. And especially in a generation now that is the first one ever that's doing worse than its parents, that's going to cause a lot of people to look around and go, there's something wrong here. Structurally, there's something wrong.
That's interesting. Do you think when they say that this generation is doing worse than its parents, obviously that is collectively, right? So how are they looking at that, and how are they making that distinction that this generation is doing worse? Is it they're doing worse financially? Is it doing worse in terms of their ability to buy a home? Like what?
I think that'll be two of the major factors, right? The fact that its real living wages have stayed static since the middle of the 1970s, something like that, and getting onto the property market at the moment is pretty difficult. But more than that as well, a lot of the things that we used to have, the traditions that we used to have for people, guys and girls, the roles that they used to take have been outsourced to the state. So if you think about the protector-provider role that men typically would have had, you don't need that so much when you've got a robust legal system and you've got a government that's going to look after people in case they fall through the cracks. You've got social safety nets and things like that here and there. I think that what happens is people end up feeling listless and existentially lonely. So not only are they materially less effective, they're unable to get as much money, they're unable to find a house as easily, but then existentially the role that they have, something that makes them feel innate and of themselves, that doesn't feel like it's helping either.
That's interesting. So you think the...
Bro, here, see now, the real problem impacting the younger generation nowadays is that they have too much safety nets. That's why in America, a country where there's demonstrably less upward social mobility than countries like Europe, where there's at least a crumb of upward social mobility, we have all the safety nets. That's why. Oh, wait, it's the exact opposite. Countries that have more social safety nets, like free healthcare or at least some semblance of like social housing, did I say countries like Europe? Sorry, I meant countries like countries in Europe, European social democracies. You guys got me. Streamer said a wrong thing. Streamer said a wrong thing while he was making an argument. Therefore, Streamer wrong. I will hold this. I will literally one day be dying at the age of 85, and my family will gather around me, okay? And they'll say, any last words, Grandpa? I love you. I'm so sorry that you're going away too soon. You'll say, Streamer said the wrong thing. Back in August 3rd, 2022, my favorite streamer at the time said European countries rather than the continent. Or he didn't even say European countries, sorry. He said countries like Europe. I will remember it. I will carry it to the fucking grave. That is the last thing I will say in my dying breath. Okay, can we move on? All right. Fucking rolled me. You got me. You fucked me up. I'm dead. I'm done. Okay? Motherfuckers be like, I'm a 45-year-old Hasanabi head. And then I look at chat and you're behaving like you're all 12. How am I supposed to believe anyone that says they're 45 years old after this? This community is so wild because they'll be like, yeah, I'm 45. I have a job and children. And then they'll be like, ha! Ha ha! Fucking idiot! He said European country! The country of Europe is not a country! Fucking idiot! I forgot my point. Anyway, in European social democracies where there are better social safety nets, turns out, and you might be shocked to find out, there is more upward social mobility than the United States of America, a country with no social safety net. So there is evidence, empirical evidence to suggest that the Australian man is wrong.
The robust legal system and social safety nets somehow make people listless. I don't think the robust legal system is that robust. And I don't think the safety systems, the safety nets that are in place, I don't think they're that effective. I don't think that people have as much faith in them as maybe you think. I know in the UK you have a better system in terms of like healthcare. People don't have to worry nearly as much about getting ill, about getting injured. I'm a big fan of having some kind of social healthcare system. And I think people in this country, particularly conservative people, are they're very concerned with the idea of socialism in any form. But I feel like socialism exists already in many forms that we accept, like the fire department. Right, that's clearly like a socialist idea. Like we all pay into it, and it serves everyone. We need it. We all accept it. And we agree to it. Public education, similar. It sucks. It's pretty shitty and ineffective. Depending.
Why is he doing this?
Of course, upon the neighborhood that you live in.
This is worse. This is worse than when he's just a fucking douchebag, because this has to be a crime when he makes me believe, okay, for a brief moment, that inside of that thick, dense, ape-like skull is a brain. When he hits that fucking lib arc shit, it hurts me more, okay? I feel like I'm a victim. Makes me believe again that deep down inside, you know what I mean? Like there's a man out there who does have like rare moments.
Some neighborhoods have good public systems of education, but in terms of like a social safety net, like this, it's not that good. Like in America, I don't think I think in the worst case scenario, the worst worry is that a social safety net encourages people to not be ambitious and encourages people to like that's what people were concerned with when it came to things like universal basic income, right? They were concerned that it was going to alleviate people's ambition. And on the best case scenario side, what I was like looking at it with rose-colored glasses, I was like, maybe it'll encourage people to go out and do something they actually want to do for a living and having their basic needs.
Bro, I spoke too soon.
Like this, it's not that good. Like in America, I don't think I think in the worst case scenario, the worst worry is that a social safety net encourages people to not be ambitious and encourages people to like that's what people were concerned with when it came to things like universal basic income, right? They were concerned that it was going to alleviate people's ambition. And on the best case scenario side, what I was like looking at it with rose-colored glasses, I was like, maybe it'll encourage people to go out and do something they actually want to do for a living and having their basic needs taken care of, like food and shelter. Like maybe that will.
Okay, he's seeing it. He's seeing the truth.
Give them whatever extra motivation they need to go out and do a thing that they really want to do, whether it's create music or become a painter or whatever the fuck it is.
Do you think that's the way that people are going to lean?
I think you have to have that in you, unfortunately. I think I know people that are just not fucking ambitious. They're just lazy. And if they didn't have any social safety net, maybe they would develop some discipline. But if there is a social safety net, they don't. And the thing.
What? Bro, that is a wild fucking take. That's an insane take, brother. That is an insane fucking take. First of all, the argument unironically revolves around like, yeah, they should die. If people have no ambition, they should just fucking die. No, the second part of that argument is true, okay? Allowing people to prosper. If a society's ultimate goal, okay, as a collective, is to make people prosper and plug the fucking holes, okay, then you need to create at least a base level of material equality. Have some of these fucking needs met. Because you don't know if the dude growing up in fucking O Block, if given the opportunity, is going to become the next fucking NASA scientist. You just don't know. Right now, we have no way of knowing. We haven't tried it. We will never try it. As a matter of fact, that inequality is literally built into the system. Okay? You just don't know. And there are still plenty of people that come from backgrounds such as that overcome that incredible amount of structural inequality. So clearly there are plenty of fucking people there. I mean, even, dude, Kia Boys is a great fucking example of this, right? These are like 14-year-olds that steal cars regularly, okay? These are like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds that are stealing fucking cars nonstop. They are so proficient. They're so good at stealing cars and driving it like fucking psychos, okay? And it's like, that's what happens when you are rudderless. That's what happens when you do not have. That's what happens when you have a lot of initiative, because it does still take initiative to be able to fucking steal a car. Okay? Not laziness. They are so good at stealing fucking cars at the age of 12, 13, 14. That's insane. Problem is, they have nowhere to have their ambitions expressed. No one is fucking steering them towards something that's productive. Really? You said literally insane or you're wrong? Really? You go steal a fucking car, dumbass. You know how hard that shit is? It takes a USB and no fucks. So I don't know what that is, peer pressure. It's not that fucking simple, man. It's not. Socialists encouraging theft, nothing new. Yeah, no, I know. Well, ironic because the entire worldview of socialism or Marxism unironically revolves around the real theft that occurs in the form of wage theft and stopping that by redesigning the economic organization of society so it will benefit people like you, dangerous individual who probably is a worker and will remain a worker for the rest of his fucking life. Right, I grew up and live in the Netherlands. Fantastic social mobility. First generation immigrant parents making minimum wage, living in a terrible neighborhood. Still was able to go to university and now make $150K a year. At 23, doing 3D design, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week because I enjoy it so much. Probably wouldn't be possible in the U.S. So the point I'm trying to make is that, like, I'm not pro car theft, obviously. Okay? I'm not fucking pro car theft. My point is, those dudes, under different circumstances, those kids, under different fucking circumstances, would be using that ambition, that initiative for something productive. Okay? That's my point. That's the point. But when a society has these kinds of systemic failures, then they just end up getting in the system early on. Okay? They end up getting in the system early on, and then they're destined for a lifetime of slavery within the prison system, within the criminal justice system. Why? Because they were born in the fucking wrong neighborhood. They had no control over that. Neither did you. An adequate society with adequate social safety nets would make sure that every single individual at least has the capacity to truly exercise their best skill set. That is how we all prosper. Except society is literally designed in a way to ensure that there is an underclass that routinely has to be enslaved, even if you're not, what do you call it? Like directly called a slave or sold into chattel slavery, still absolutely that. At least under the 13th Amendment. Yes, zip codes do predict best Zip codes predict success the best. Yes.
That you were talking about earlier, like this, there is a problem with generations that feel entitled, and they're given this. There's this attitude. There's a sort of overwhelming idea that the government is responsible for you in a certain way, and if you're not doing well, the government has fucked you over. The government, it's your fault. And then people start looking to people that have a lot, like they start looking to billionaires. And they're like, we need to tax them. We need to tax these billionaires. And, like there's people out there that are calling for a 90% tax of billionaires, which I always feel like is at the very least what they're trying to do. Some of them, for sure, are just putting on a show. They're just saying that because they want their constituents to go, yeah, they're fighting for us. They're fighting for the working class. Like, are they? I'm not sure they are. I think they're bullshitting. And I think that capitalism is a game. And whenever you're going to have a game, you're going to have people that are like weekend players that go out there and put a little bit of effort into, and they're kind of okay at basketball. And then you're going to have Michael Jordan.
Okay, but like, there's a fuckload of people that are basically enslaved, destined for a lifetime of wage slavery that make sure that game fucking works. And the game itself is rigged. Sports analogies are always so funny because it's like the closest we can ever arrive at a meritocracy, a meritocratic approach, right? Even then, class and so many other factors, especially probability, as always, as is the case in our lives, in every facet of our lives. Probability is a significant factor in that.